when we think we have to do more, typically what we're saying is that we're not doing enough. And so if we're not doing enough, we're failing. We're making it harder, and yet we're not getting results. We're not getting an equal amount of return on our energetic investment. Doing less to achieve more isn't about doing less of what your work is. It's really about doing less of what isn't your work. What does it mean to you when you hear the phrase, do less and achieve more? Do less and achieve more. If you are a conscious founder or holistic practitioner, let's say you're an acupuncturist or a naturopathic doctor or a master healer of some sort, and you have been running your business as a founder, creating programs and services, and you're still feeling like you're not making the traction that you want to make, there might be something really simple going on. And sometimes we don't see it. Sometimes it does take an outside view to recognize what's going on. So I thought I'd share a few things that I've gone through with my own clients around this that might help you get your own ahas so that you can really move forward and catapult to the next level without as much struggle. So here are some things. Just as a note, one client in particular, I know that when we started working together, one of the things was that she had this drive that she knew she wanted to reach more people. She knew that she wanted to build her business, grow her business, actually increase her revenue, of course. And she felt frustrated because she didn't know exactly where to turn next to build that momentum because she was already maxed out. Does that sound familiar? She was already maxed out. She already felt like she didn't have any more bandwidth, but she knew that she wanted to grow her business and she knew that it was possible. And she was watching other people around her create great revenue and results. And so this idea that there must be a way, but she didn't know what it was. And the only thing she could come up with is that she just had to do more. She just had to do more. When we started working together, I think the thing that was like her first aha was, no, actually what you have to do is less. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what that means, but it's this idea that when we think we have to do more, typically what we're saying is that we're not doing enough. And so if we're not doing enough, we're failing. We're making it harder, and yet we're not getting results. We're not getting an equal amount of return on our energetic investment. And that's the key, because doing less to achieve more isn't about doing less of what your work is. It's really about doing less of what isn't your work. And so I take my clients through a very specific process to narrow down what that is. And why do we have to go through a process? I'll tell you why. Because if, like you, right, you feel like, oh, all of the things that are running in a list in your head constantly that have to be done, right, that have to be done in order for you to actually change, grow, or even expand your business fall on your shoulders alone, then yes, you are going to find yourself stuck in some serious overwhelm, and the kind of overwhelm that will stop you from actually making the moves to really build your business. Because if that's what it takes to go to the next level, your own subconscious mind is going to stop you from getting there because it's there to save you, right? And if you're already in overwhelm or you're already at your limit or near your limit, the last thing it thinks is healthy or good for you is to add more to your plate. And so people get stuck in this, either like gathering all the tools and resources to do more and thinking, okay, this is going to make it easier for me to get to my desired results, either financially, right? So this is the revenue I want to make, or they're saying to themselves, this is exactly what I need to do because so-and-so is doing it. They see another doctor or another healer or another founder or coach doing this work from the outside, right? So they see it, they see the results from the outside, and they assume that person is doing all of these steps to make it happen. The idea of the duck with looking smooth on the top of the water and underneath the feet are paddling. In other words, they're just in the same spot you are. You're in the same boat or in the same lake anyway, and you're all doing the same thing, which is paddling furiously to continue to stay afloat. And that's really not sustainable. No matter what business you're in, it is not sustainable. And so often when, as founders, and I know for a lot of the women that I work with, it feels like we're never doing enough. So if you feel like you're never doing enough, there's so much more to be done. So much has to happen so that you can have what you want. I'm here to tell you that's not exactly true. What if you could tap into the law of attraction with precision and power on your terms? I'm Leah Dunlap, and in my audiobook, Power Up the Law of Attraction, I give you the no-fluff blueprint to create a life of purpose, prosperity, and peace. Ready to stop manifesting by accident and start creating with intention? Download Power Up the Law of Attraction now on Audible. Now, back to the show. Now, the one thing I will also say is that oftentimes when people are in that state, they're in that kind of frantic state of trying to get it all done, they're doing a lot of things that don't really need to be done. So the first thing we work with my clients is, what do we need to delegate, right? What do we need to take off our plate? Now, this could look like getting support from a team, right? Which a lot of the clients that I work with maybe have a small team, but they're maybe not utilizing them fully, or they have no team and it's all on their shoulders. So that's a really first thing to look at is, do you have the right support? Do you have the right team players on your field to get the game that you want, to win the game you want to play? If you don't have the right team players on your field to win the game, chances are you will not win. It's simple, right? If you really want to have the best chance at the best results, you need a team. And that team does not need to be full-time at the beginning. So that's the other thing. People will not do things, right? They'll do it themselves and they won't get support because they feel like they can't afford to get the support, which is the wrong thinking. Because the honest part is that the more you get support, the more you get to do what is yours to do. And that's the next thing, right? So we're going to delegate the things that aren't yours. We're going to delete things that you're doing that don't even need to be done. Now, I have worked with clients, all kinds of walks of business. And this particular piece is really, I think, a challenge for people that are just either going from like a solo entrepreneur position or a practitioner position where they're working out underneath someone else and they're now growing their own business and they're moving into either founding something of their own, becoming a leader and stepping out more and having people underneath them, like at that stage, at that level, let's say, that's when the challenge of letting go is key, right? That's when it starts to play a really big role. And what that might look like is you have old services or offers that they aren't selling, or they're just not profitable. They're really nice things to do, or people like them, but you haven't ever reflected on whether or not at the end of the day, they add anything to your business's bottom line. And if so, great, then we can figure out a way to manage them. But there are often a lot of times when we're like, this is something that you created maybe when you started out. And at the point that you started out, it made sense. But now it no longer serves you or your clients, and you just cut it free. You release yourself from having to fulfill it. That is one of those great moments where people are like, I don't even have to get help. I just need to let it go. Just delete it. Whatever it is, just delete it from the process and give yourself the opportunity to have that energy back to do what you're meant to do. So we've already deleted things and we've delegated things, right? And then there's a third piece now in today's world with modern AI tools. And when I say AI tools, please understand, I am talking about all the tools. We're not just talking about online marketing tools. We're talking about tools everywhere in your life. Now, I love this one. And when I start talking about AI, there's different theories about whether that's good or bad. So be it. I always want to remind people, because I'm an old school computer geek, that we've had AI for a very long time. We have had tools within our tools that play a role automatically, right? So artificial intelligence or some automated systems that use artificial intelligence to get a job done faster, probably cheaper, faster, and more efficiently. So that's been going on for many years. So before we just throw the baby out with the bathwater, let's consider the fact that there are lots of ways to automate things in your life that will relieve you from personally having to complete them. And I would say these tasks fall into the category of beneath your pay grade, right? If you had to look at things in your life right now that you are doing that you could not pay yourself to do. In other words, whatever your hourly rate is or whatever your program rate is, divide it by the hours and figure it out and say, okay, I make X amount of dollars. Let's say you make $300 an hour, $150 an hour, $100 an hour. And then you say, I'm going to go and do the laundry, for example, right? If you could get that same amount of laundry done for $25 or $35 an hour, right? $35 to get your laundry done versus you spending that same amount of time washing, drying, folding. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense unless we look at it that way. So it takes a second chance to look at what you're doing to decide if you can automate it and what ways you can automate it. Of course, most people now know you can order your groceries. You can order your groceries to come to you automatically. You can even set up a list of what your typical groceries are to make it easier for you through AI. And then click on that list and just go through what your standards are and have that delivered to you. You can have your meals delivered to you. And you can even have those meals delivered to you in a fashion that suits your dietary needs. There are so many ways today, and I believe this is amazing. There are so many ways today for us to automate things that really are below our pay grade. Personally, as founders and entrepreneurs, there's a ton of things, right? So if you're a holistic practitioner and you're a founder and you're feeling the crunch, right, of overwhelm, it's a very easy way to look at things around you and say, I can take my time and energy back if I just turn these things over, right, and find a more automated system. When we think about that, so we've delegated, we've automated, and we have deleted things. So already, right, you are doing less. You, the individual, are doing less and achieving more. And that's just like with a few quick tips. If you really want to master this, if you really want to take that to the next level, then you need to start looking at your actual business. How are you? What's the methodology for your business? What is your model? And can you look at your model in the same way and find a way to deliver the best to your ideal clients with less effort on your part? So when we say, how can you do less and achieve more? This is exactly what I'm talking about. And if you want to grow your business, if you want to expand and grow or scale your business, these are non-negotiables, really. At a certain point, you have to make these choices. And you get to make these choices. And what I mean by that is you could stay at a level where you're at overwhelm or just near it all the time. And your income is just barely where you want it to be all the time. And that tension and that frustration will probably stay at a steady beat or maybe reach a death knell inside of you. I can't take this anymore. Then you'll be ready. You'll be ready to make the right moves. And if you are, I encourage you to reach out because this is what I love to help clients with. Because those simple tweaks, sometimes right off the bat, I have so many clients that when we start working together within like 30 days, there's such a huge expansion in their life and business because we look at these things in their own unique way to make sure that they're mastering them, to make sure that we've cleared the decks and opened the floodgates, if you will, so that more flows to them, more calls, more clients, more money, more ease, more flow with them doing less. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you reach out below and we will talk about how we can help you do that yourself. Just remind you that it is possible to do less and achieve more when you delete, delegate, and automate. All right, we'll see you next time. Have a great one. Remember, follow us, subscribe below, share us with your friends, and make sure that you continue to get out there and live your life on purpose.